YouTube's animation content problem, specifically with how the copyright system is being abused, has gotten completely out of control recently. Regardless of how painfully obvious a video can fall in line with fair use, these copyright claims continue to get through automatically and even sometimes manually, with zero kind of repercussion on said companies making these false claims. As someone who's been around the YouTube block an extremely long time, probably all the way back in 2011, seeing this stuff happen to other creators always rubbed me the wrong way, and I would see it happen very often. Not just with the company I'm currently dealing with, but other companies like Nintendo or Toei or Shueisha, stuff like that. And for the majority of the time that I've had on this site, I never really experienced the severity of these issues some others were experiencing. I felt very lucky in that sense. Well, it seems like even my luck has a little bit of its limits. The core issue I'm having is stemming from the Turner/Warner Media Company, whatever you want to call them, misusing the copyright system like crazy since around mid-March or so. That's what it feels like. It's possible it's been longer than that, but it feels like the issues have been a lot more widespread since that time period. For those who may not be aware, the Turner/Warner Media Broadcasting System is a media conglomerate that essentially owns all the rights to cartoons that fall under the Cartoon Network and Adult Swim brands. So shows like Regular Show, Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Smiling Friends, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, all of it is under Turner's thumb. There's obviously tons more, but those were just some of the more notable examples. People have been making content on these shows for several years, and from what I could tell, hardly ever had severe experiences with copyright issues from said videos, unless they were using total raw footage with audio that lasted more than 15 seconds or something, more than once in a video. Then at that point, maybe they could have gotten got, but even then, that felt like it rarely happened. Hell, there were even entire channels that would just upload raw clips or out-of-context montages of these shows and have no issues. Granted, I'm not sure if these channels were able to monetize these videos, but at the very least, the videos were still open to watch for the public. Well, it feels like that's not going to be allowed anymore for the foreseeable future. My past two videos were wrongfully claimed by Turner. One was a video on Regular Show's Exit 9B episode, which really just served as a review-style video and explaining why it was my personal favorite episode in the entire series, with the other being a video on Smiling Friends and why I thought the new character Gwimbly stuck out to me and others so much compared to some of the other Smiling Friends side characters. The Regular Show video was more or less dead on arrival in the sense that the YouTube automated checking system that checks to see if there's any copyrighted content kept instantly flagging that video once the processing finished, making it ineligible to monetize, and it was being blocked worldwide. Despite clearly falling under fair use, I would continue to try and get around the automated checks by putting black and white filters on the footage that was in question, adding one of those film dust hair effects, and even flipping the footage horizontally. None of it worked, so the last resort was to just take a still screenshot from the clip and just keyframe it sideways for the duration of my talking point. While that seemed to have worked at first, the video got blocked again, only this time the bot detected an entirely different section of footage was infringing on their copyright. I just couldn't believe or really understand why this new section wasn't mentioned initially in the first claim and only popped up after I had to do a bunch of reworking in Adobe Premiere to fix the original issue. At that point, I was just fed up trying to rework the video because I had a feeling it was going to go nowhere, or it was going to be one of those things where the entire video would be keyframed screenshots with zero video footage to use, which just wouldn't look very good in my opinion. It would feel like the quality of my content would have devolved rather than improved in quality like I try to strive for whenever I can. So I ended up just filing a dispute, and within 4 hours or so, it was rejected. The video was allowed to be viewed to the public now after the dispute, yet monetization was still disabled. The Smiling Friends video felt even more disrespectful because that video was up for 6 full days with zero issues, cleared the automated checking system upon the upload being finished, and stayed clean. Then all of a sudden, I get an email saying the video's been claimed, specifically the first 24 seconds of the video. In the moment, I was already pretty heated seeing this since it got me annoyed with the whole checking system during an upload even being a thing, because what's the point of it even being there if I'm going to get manually claimed later anyway? Regardless, I scrolled through what they were saying deserved to be claimed. Some of the content in question was indeed from the Gwimbly episode. I mean, obviously, since the video was entirely centered around it, but I arranged the clips in random order and no clip went on for over 10 seconds. However, the most baffling thing was one of the clips had my custom subscribed animation buttons on screen, with the final few seconds of the 24 being me scrolling through Twitter. Once again, this just made zero sense, but all I could do was file another dispute and hope for the best. Lo and behold, within 3 hours of my dispute being filed, I was rejected by Turner again. So I'm at the point now where the likelihood of these two videos reaching a wider audience has become significantly lower. The reason I say this is because there have been creators on Twitter who I've seen vent their frustrations about a video getting limited ads and all of a sudden dropping off in views as a result. Of course, limited ads and no ads aren't the same thing. However, since having no ads is just kind of objectively worse for a video's money-making potential than limited ads are, I've been going off the assumption that fully claimed videos also struggle to get out there after said claim goes through. I could be wrong about this, but the amount of credible people I've seen talk about this in the past, I'm inclined to believe it's the case. Now, some of you may be thinking at this point, why not just try to take the dispute further by filing for an appeal one more time, because you can do that. The only issue I have with that is the chances of receiving a full-on copyright strike becomes more likely. 3 copyright strikes guarantees a channel gets shut down. Even then, I've still seen some freak cases where channels have gotten shut down or their monetization taken away altogether just over 1 strike. I'm gonna get a little real here for a second here. I'm a pretty paranoid individual, that's just kind of how I'm wired. Especially in the sense of struggling to deal with certain things, that are beyond my control. Things that will screw me over financially or ruin a healthy routine I have in life. For example, and this is something I struggle with at times, as embarrassing as it's about to sound, whenever there's bad weather over here where I live, like hurricane type weather during the summer, that kind of weather wigs me out, not because of the sounds or the sights of it, but because of the higher chance my house will lose power. The idea of being without power for several days because of weather out of my control during a time period where Has-Been Hotel Season 2, for instance, is airing new episodes, that just freaks me out, because I, won't be able to work and capitalize off that. I know what it feels like to be without power for more than a week, and it fucking sucks really bad. I don't know if any other East Coasters remember that October nor'easter that happened back in 2011, but my area was out of power for 10 days. Halloween got canceled in most towns in my state. I didn't mean to sidetrack that hard. It's just the same concept can be applied to this whole copyright problem myself and others have been experiencing with Turner. I feel like I'm at a point now where unless whoever is in charge of making copyright claims on Turner's behalf gets booted or has some change of heart, it makes me think things are going to continue to be this bad until further notice. Wanted to give a quick update that while I was in the middle of editing this video, I decided to say screw it and file an appeal on my Gimli video since the initial dispute was rejected, and of course, the appeal was also rejected. This was something I had to find out accidentally while gathering screenshots for this video because YouTube never sent me a follow-up email about this rejection. YouTube is currently in the process of reviewing if the video deserves to be removed altogether, so the possibility of me getting a strike from this video is still there, further justifying my initial paranoia of wanting to file an appeal in the first place or ever again for the foreseeable future. At this current point in time, the loss of money from those 2 videos isn't an issue. The views on the regular show video weren't very high to begin with, and although the Smiling Friends video did very well, especially for a video on a series I never talked about before, the video is only 5 minutes long. Videos that short are typically hated by the YouTube algorithm because not only are they not eligible for mid-roll ads, but the average audience retention will always be lower on a 5-minute video as opposed to a 30-minute video or longer. So for those 2 videos, it's mostly about the principle of the copyright system being so blatantly abused with YouTube doing nothing to fix this abuse of power, though I'd be lying if I said the money aspect for the future didn't scare me. With things like wanting to cover more Smiling Friends Season 2, Fiona Cake Season 2, and if we're lucky, a potential Steven Universe continuation, it makes me wonder if I'll be able to cover any of these shows without getting claimed and rejected appeals over and over again. The whole content creation thing serves as my main source of income, and I've never loved putting work into something so much in my life before. I've been doing it for so long now that the idea of having to slow down a ton or even stop altogether because of copyright claims being abused, it'd be a very tough pill for me to swallow. I'd do what I gotta do to keep moving forward, but that wouldn't change the fact that a reality like that would blow total ass. Though I won't deny that even with the things that have happened to me so far, I'm still luckier than most. My channel hasn't been fully deleted or my monetization hasn't been taken away, and it's only been a few of my videos that have gotten hit. Perhaps they'll end up talking about this in videos of their own, but I know my friends Sarcastic Chorus and Kevin from the Roundtable channel have been dealing with potentially worse issues than myself. A lot of their Adventure Time content in particular has gotten hit, some of these videos being well over a year old, yet all of a sudden getting claimed recently. Sarcastic's claims in particular were notably bad because some of his most popular videos of all time are on Adventure Time. Just the whole idea of them claiming channels like us is so odd because the kind of content we do is just an inherent net positive on their business. I know for a fact the money we do make on the non-claimed videos are not leaving any kinds of holes in their pockets. The videos we do either put people onto good shows they may have never watched before, or get people to take a trip down memory lane and watch an older show for nostalgia, for instance. If anything, them claiming our videos and discouraging us to make content on their shows is doing more harm than good. Even smaller channels like myself, it may not be a major difference I'm making with my videos, but you can't deny it's better than nothing. Obviously, I could have done done a video on this before, but never did because, well, it's never affected me personally to this degree until now, and, you know, so many of my friends until now. It's only natural for me to feel more slighted when I'm the one getting screwed over. As for the future of this channel, when it comes to Turner-related IPs, what I'll probably have to try to do is put a background behind the video footage I used to see if that'll scare the claims away. At this point, it's the only thing I haven't really tried when it comes to alternate footage. But I'm very much looking forward to this video getting claimed anyway. Super fun as always. I doubt this video will have any direct impact on Turner's decisions. I just wanted to vent my frustrations on the matter as someone who's an avid user of this website and has been making content on it for years. Please, YouTube, get your act together. Stop letting these people abuse their power so much, for everyone's sake.